You know that feeling when you're just, well, off, maybe dragging through the day, can't quite focus, or maybe your emotions are a bit all over the place. We
Hmm.
often look at, diet or exercise first, but so much of our well-being, physical health, mental clarity, emotional balance, it really hinges on sleep.
Absolutely. Something we do every single night.
Exactly. And yet for so many people, myself included sometimes, a truly restful night feels elusive. Insomnia, restless nights.
Huh.
They're really common struggles, aren't they?
They really are. And that's precisely what we're diving into today. We want to kind of step back from maybe the quick fixes or the, endless stream of sleep apps for a second
Okay.
and explore the surprisingly deep benefits of tracking your sleep with a simple tool, a journal notebook.
A physical journal. Interesting.
Yeah, we've been looking at some interesting ideas on this,
Mhm.
including the thoughtful design behind the Lestallion journal notebooks. They're specifically made for this.
Right, the Lestallion ones, we know
Yeah.
those.
Yeah. And the idea is it's not just about logging hours slept. It's more about uncovering those hidden connections, the things that actually influence how well you rest.
Okay, so that's the mission for this deep dive then, to really understand why tracking sleep, especially with a good journal, can be such a game changer.
Precisely. We want to explore how it can lead to actual concrete improvements in sleep habits and just a much deeper self-awareness about your body's own rhythms.
And I think a lot of people listening probably have tried tracking sleep on their phones or watches. I know I have.
Sure, many have.
But we want to focus on that unique value of a physical journal. That sort of personal touch, maybe,
Mhm.
that space for reflection that a screen sometimes just doesn't offer.
It's true, isn't it? There's something different about picking up a pen,
Mm-hmm.
physically writing things down.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of forces a slower, more deliberate process. And that can be incredibly helpful when you're trying to spot subtle patterns, triggers related to your sleep.
Yeah, I get that.
And Lestallion, as you mentioned, they've clearly thought about how to create notebooks that really support that kind of consistent, insightful journaling.
They really seem to have. Things like the feel of the notebook itself. What is it, 211 thick pages?
Yeah, quite substantial.
It feels like something you're meant to stick with over time, not just a flimsy notepad.
Right.
And then the numbered sections, the table of contents built in those, seems super practical for actually looking back and seeing trends, right?
Exactly. Organization is key for review.
And even the cover, that smooth faux leather, it sounds a bit extra maybe, but it adds to that feeling of intention, makes it a nicer habit to actually do.
Makes it more appealing, definitely. So, okay, let's get to the heart of it. Why even bother tracking sleep in the first place?
Good question.
Well, the research we looked at really underscores that sleep isn't passive. It's fundamental. It impacts pretty much every single aspect of our health.
It's not just about feeling groggy.
Not at all. A consistent lack of good quality sleep. It's linked to cognitive issues like trouble concentrating, a weakened immune system.
So you get sick more easily.
Potentially, yeah. And even a higher risk of things like heart problems down the road. It's serious stuff.
Wow. Okay, so this is where the journal comes in as a tool.
Exactly. If you're struggling with, say, insomnia, or you wake up feeling like you barely slept even after 8 hours in bed,
Yeah.
it can be so hard to figure out why.
Right, you just feel frustrated.
A journal gives you that dedicated space to start piecing the puzzle together. By consistently logging the details, you start to see connections that were maybe invisible before.
It's about making those connections visible.
Precisely. And what's really interesting is that tracking these patterns diligently over time helps you spot trends affecting not just how long you sleep, but the quality of that sleep.
Ah, the quality aspect, that's crucial.
It moves you beyond just knowing, I had a bad night, to understanding the potential reasons why.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where real change can actually start.
And the sources we looked at gave some really clear examples of things that mess with sleep and how the journal helps identify them, like screen time before bed.
Oh, the classic one.
We all sort of know it's bad, right? But actually seeing it written down in your own hand night after night that scrolling late equals a restless night, that's way more powerful, isn't it?
It makes it tangible, much harder to ignore.
Yeah. A real motivator to maybe put the phone down earlier.
Exactly. And the same goes for things like late day caffeine.
The afternoon coffee trap.
You might think, oh, it wore off hours ago. But if you track it in your journal alongside your sleep quality, you might find a surprising link. Or physical activity. Your journal might show that on days you skipped your usual walk, you actually struggled more to fall asleep or you woke up more.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Never thought of tracking activity against sleep like that.
And stress, of course,
Yeah.
anxiety, noting your mood, your worries before bed, seeing how consistently they correlate with poor sleep can be a real eye-opener.
Yeah, that makes sense. Some sources even suggested noting specific worries, not just stressed.
That's right. Identifying recurring thought patterns that precede bad nights. That level of detail can be really revealing.
It reminds me, actually, of my brother-in-law. He was totally convinced he was just a bad sleeper, always tired,
Okay.
tried everything, nothing worked. Then he started a journal, tracked sleep times, sure, but also what he ate in the
I'll
evenings.
have the diet connection.
Turned out his habit of having a pretty sugary snack right before bed, almost always followed by tossing and turning.
Wow.
Seeing that pattern in black and white in his journal was the thing that finally made him change the habit, and he sleeps much better now.
That's a perfect example.
And he said having a dedicated, sort of nicer notebook, like the Lestallion kind, actually made him take it more seriously than just scribbling on scrap paper.
That makes total sense.
Yeah.
It increases that self-awareness, like we said.
I
And using a thoughtfully designed notebook can make the daily tracking feel less like a chore, more like a ritual.
Right. A pleasant experience.
Yeah. And if it's pleasant, you're just more likely to stick with it. Consistency is everything for spotting those important connections.
Okay, so let's maybe zoom in on some of those common sleep issues people face. Insomnia, trouble falling asleep, staying asleep.
Right. Or just that difficulty drifting off initially.
Staring at the ceiling,
Yeah.
or waking up frequently during the night. That's so disruptive.
hmm And then there's just feeling completely unrested in the morning, even if you think you slept for long enough.
Yeah, the junk sleep feeling.
Exactly. And what the sources really emphasize is the journal's power to connect these problems to your actual lifestyle.
It's the bridge.
It is. It's not just about saying I have insomnia. It's about actively figuring out what in your daily life might be contributing.
So recording daily activities, exercise, stress levels,
Mm,
all alongside the sleep details.
Precisely. You build this detailed picture, then you can look back and see, okay, nights after a really intense late workout, sleep was way more fragmented.
Or maybe days I actually wound down with a book instead of my phone. Fell asleep much faster.
Yeah, those kinds of insights. I remember a colleague, she was always complaining about waking up multiple times a night.
Okay.
Tried changing the room temp, got a new mattress, everything. It wasn't until she started a sleep journal, consistently noting her dinner.
Ah, food again.
Yeah, she saw a clear pattern. Nights she ate heavy, spicy food. She woke up uncomfortable and restless every time.
And the journal helped her pinpoint that specific trigger.
Exactly. And she mentioned the structured layout of her Lestallion journal made it really easy to see that correlation between the evening meal and the sleep disruption.
So let's talk specifically then about how this simple act using a journal actually improves sleep quality. It sounds almost too basic.
It does, but the information we reviewed really hammers home that it's incredibly effective. It helps you recognize those patterns we keep talking about.
Identify the bad habits.
Right. And ultimately empower you to make positive changes to your, what experts call sleep hygiene.
Sleep hygiene, like brushing your teeth, but for sleep.
Kind of. It's just the collection of habits and practices that influence your sleep. Your routine, your bedroom environment, daytime behaviors, all that stuff.
Got it.
And the journal fosters that conscious awareness. When you're actively logging bedtime, wake-up time, calculating total sleep.
Even rating the quality, like deep versus restless.
Yes.
Yes.
You're engaging with your sleep much more mindfully than just, glancing at some graph on an app.
True.
Some sources also mention noting dreams or nightmares. They can sometimes offer clues about underlying stress or emotions affecting sleep.
That's interesting. And it's not just nighttime stuff, right? You track daytime things too.
Absolutely crucial. Physical activity levels, stress during the day, and especially what you consume near bedtime caffeine, alcohol, even big meals.
And things like screen time, the blue light effect.
Exactly. That blue light suppresses melatonin, the sleep hormone. Seeing in your journal, late night scrolling took longer to fall asleep. That makes that biological link really clear and personal.
And this is where those Lestallion features really come into play, isn't it? Like the table of contents and numbered pages.
Hugely advantageous. They might seem like small details, but they make a massive difference when you want to review your data over weeks or months.
Instead of just flipping endlessly.
Right. You can quickly find specific entries, track your progress, see if the changes you're making are actually working.
It's like having your own personal sleep lab, but like nicely organized.
Pretty much.
I could totally see someone realizing, hey, my sleep quality always dips on days I skip my afternoon walk. With the numbered pages in their Lestallion, they could quickly check back weeks ago to see if that holds true.
That ease of review is invaluable for cementing those insights.
And the table of contents, you could even dedicate sections, maybe, like one for caffeine, one for exercise.
You absolutely could. Makes analyzing specific factors even easier.
And with that structured record, you can run little experiments on yourself.
That's the beauty of it. Okay, I'm cutting out afternoon coffee this week. Then use the journal to track meticulously. Did it help? Did I fall asleep faster? Is my sleep quality rating better?
It gives you concrete evidence, proof of what works for you.
Exactly. Your own personalized data.
So let's really zero in again on why a journal like the Lestallion seems particularly well suited for this sleep tracking task. Let's connect the dots clearly.
Okay. Well, first, the sheer volume. Those 211 thick pages. That's a big deal.
It means you can track consistently for a long time.
Right. No need to keep switching notebooks, which can interrupt the flow. Continuity is vital for seeing those long-term trends.
And we keep coming back to the numbered sections and table of contents.
Because they're crucial for organization and efficient review. Seriously, when you're trying to spot patterns or compare, say, this month's sleep to last month's, easy navigation is a lifesaver. It boosts the analytical power.
Makes sense. And the cover. Faux leather.
It sounds superficial, maybe, but that tactile experience matters. It makes picking up the journal feel more intentional, maybe even a little nicer.
More appealing than a boring old notebook.
Which encourages consistency. If you like using it, you'll use it more regularly.
And page layout, dash lines you mentioned.
Yeah, I think that's a great balance. Enough structure to guide you log bedtime, wake time consistently, but still flexible enough for personal notes, reflections, dream details.
So it doesn't feel too rigid like filling out a form.
Exactly. It allows for that personal touch.
Yeah.
So all these features, they work together. They make the Lestallion journals a really excellent choice for anyone serious about starting and sticking with a sleep journal.
They simplify things, help organize, and ultimately make the whole process more effective for improving sleep and boosting self-awareness.
Couldn't have said it better.
Okay, so as we start to wrap this up, the main takeaway seems clear. Tracking your sleep with a journal notebook is a really powerful way to gain some control over your health and well-being.
It really is. It's about moving from passively wishing for better sleep to actively understanding the patterns and factors influencing your rest.
You become your own sleep detective.
That's a great way to put it. By diligently recording sleep and daily life details, you equip yourself to see those connections, pinpoint what helps or hurts your sleep.
And then make informed changes, real adjustments based on your own data.
Exactly. Effective adjustments to your routines and bedtime habits.
And for listeners who are really ready to commit to this, a premium journal like the Lestallion with those features we discussed, the ample pages, the numbering, the TOC, the nice cover, it really provides an ideal structure, doesn't it?
It provides a great foundation for structured, consistent journaling. If you're serious about unlocking better sleep and more energy, that kind of dedicated tool can genuinely be a game changer.
So maybe a final thought for everyone listening.
Yeah, it kind of prompts you to consider. Understanding your sleep isn't just about feeling less tired tomorrow. It's really a long-term investment in your physical resilience, your mental resilience. What surprising insights, what unexpected connections between your daily life and your nightly rest might you uncover if you start paying this kind of focused attention? It's a pretty fascinating question to explore for yourself, I think.